Bob Shively would like to address this a little bit to Corey and Greg, based on some of the things that you've said, that at the last council meeting, I brought up the splash pad and the lack of transparency and a lot of things, and trying to group things so that you could get synergism and so forth. And I was just glad to see that coming from you, because I think that's one of the catalysts that we can use to pull the community together on some of this positive things and not pull it apart. And the same thing with the golf course here, and Corey, what he was saying about different business opportunities and so forth, that if anything, right now, there's a thing called the Mesquite Star, and there was quite a hubbub about that. But on taking the positive approach, if you can team up with the main players in Mesquite and bring forth an idea that is good for your future and our future, and that everybody can chime in on that, that it's really maybe a terrific idea, a breakthrough, because we have to break the losing cycle of recycling money that's been recycled too many times already. We need fresh money and fresh ideas, but most of all, we need a positive community to get behind a worthwhile project and bring it home with bells and whistles and get this thing off the dime and really make things work for all of us, because we all need to play ball together, not separately.
I really appreciate those comments and that question, because I had been anticipating that someone would ask me, what are your plans for the Mesquite Star? Well, why did you buy it? And the reason we bought it last year, and I'm going to go next to how can we create a group to help us create ideas for it, is that we bought it at first really because there was so much conflict and disagreement about the future of that location and what it meant for Mesquite. And I'm not shy about saying that personally, I thought that it was negative. And I thought it was negative because we'd spent 20 years developing the Eureka to be a resort hotel casino, partnering with people like Corey, and to try to bring tourists, from the outside who would have a vision of Mesquite and its lifestyle that could then lead to more sales at Sun City. And we had the fear that a large truck stop would destroy that vision. Okay? We did have that fear. And so, the first step was, to buy it, and we bought it agreeing that it could never be used, or it's deed restricted, so it can't be a casino. And what's happened is, immediately it took away opening it in its intended use. It's a hotel casino. The casino is the driver for that many rooms. And so, I would say, even if it wasn't deed restricted, we would still have to think long and hard whether gaming was enough of a draw to make it worth opening. Okay? So, the new iteration, okay, and I think I spend time at City Hall talking with Aaron and from really before about some of the ideas that had been circulated from before, while he was in economic development. And some of them, I think, make sense, especially after you see how many kids came down for the soccer tournament, right? And so we see kind of elements that say, hey, on that weekend, I think there would have been plenty of demand for a hotel that was family-oriented, that would cater to those types of ball teams, and then we talk with you know, what would be partners across the street at Best Western, and understand how we could work together, because an event like that, it's not just one property, it's really all the properties working together who have to host it. And then together with the city you say, okay, how does that fit in with its own master plan of what fields would be used for soccer and which ones would be used for softball and baseball, and then maybe over the course of time, we figure out how the Mesquite Star becomes that connective tissue between Main Street, City Hall, the restaurants in the area, the hotels in the area, to really create something that is different from the hotel casinos. So I share some of that vision with you. That's the reason why we've kind of held it. But really, it's how can we all work together to provide the other amenities, which as a group, whether it's restaurants, whether it's an expanded tour center, things, maybe it's offices and other retail, that together give that corner the critical mass that it can help drive a hotel which is 200 rooms. By itself, standing alone, most hotels are not that big. There may be 50 rooms, because that's what you can drive being by yourself. Being 3 to 4 times larger, it really is it's a community project. What I hope that we can do in the next year is focus on that being a platform for the entire community to get behind something and share their vision of what it can be, so that it can be successful and it can reopen.
Great.